with Matt Asner and Navah with Asner, who you're going to see in a minute. This is our, I think, 6th or 7th episode, and we come to you every Friday at 3 o'clock. That was Navah fiddling with the theme song that we had. We come to you every Friday at 3 o'clock, and we've got a great show for you today with Chelsea Darnell, who's our social director here at the Ed Asner Family Center. She's going to come on and talk to us about Hollywood theme song and about what kind of stuff we have going on. And then we have Trisha Regan, who is the director of the new sequel. Here is Navah right now. The new sequel to Autism
I will never
the Musical.
be a tech person. I give up.
So Autism the Musical, that's Trisha Regan. She's the director of Autism the Sequel,
Yes.
which is a sequel to Autism the Musical.
We watched literally as it debuted. We were so excited.
We did. And it's wonderful. A great movie. It's on HBO. You can watch it on HBO. I believe it's also on Hulu right now. But Trisha,
I think it's a limited HBO run.
But basically, we'll talk a bit about that when we see it. But let's bring in our first guest. Let's bring in none other than Chelsea Darnell. Chelsea,
Yay.
How are you? How are you?
I've known Chelsea since she was, I think, in third. Were you third grade when we first met?
First grade, I want to say.
First grade. And she went to school with Maxie, what number is Maxie? 2, our number 2. And I'm just so proud of the beautiful, talented, amazing young woman that you've become, Chelsea. I'm so excited for all that you've done for the community and this new wonderful endeavor that Chrissa and Chelsea and I started last year, which is 18 and over socials. And I think what made our event so unusual is Chelsea would actually kind of plan them based on what the community asked for. So one example, they didn't want the fluorescent lighting. So we did mood lighting and candles, and we had just a wonderful time. But I think these events that we're doing that are really incorporating autistic adults and our community having a voice and saying, look, don't do another social, don't do another club, don't do another support group unless we're invited, unless we're part of the planning.
Exactly.
We don't know what they want. They need to tell us what they want. So,
well, and the other thing Chelsea's doing so great.
Yes.
She every Saturday night, it's Saturday night, right? Every Saturday night she does a movie chat. So they, she invites people to watch movies. We've had Raiders of the Lost Ark. We've had Parent Trap, both Parent Traps. And what are we doing this Saturday, Chelsea?
Wonderful question. So to this weekend's movie, so if anybody is interested in joining for tomorrow at 7, we're going to be discussing both Willy Wonka movies. So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So the Gene Wilder version and the Johnny Depp version, and we're going to be comparing the two. So if you want to join us tomorrow night, be sure to watch both of those movies before the meeting.
And they can find a link on Facebook.
That's correct.
Yeah, and so I have a lot to say about that. I really do, because I'm a purist.
That movie is a little popular in our house, wouldn't you say? The Johnny Depp version.
The Johnny Depp version. So it's interesting because the younger generation seems to kind of gravitate towards the Johnny Depp version.
That's not true, though.
Really?
Yeah, because Chelsea was doing a poll the other day, and the majority of people were saying there's no other version other than the oh my gosh.
Well, with the Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Well, that's the camp I'm in.
Yeah, but I love the Johnny Depp version. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was a little too, I don't know. It's like reading a doll book. It's like it's really like jumping out from the pages.
No, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I enjoy it because Eddie watches it about 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Chelsea, I'm not kidding. He knows every word. He rewinds certain parts, but he knows every dance. I have to video it for Chelsea because he knows every dance that the Oompa Loompas do with this famous Oompa Loompa. Right. The actor is a famous guy.
Deep
Roy.
Deep Roy.
He knows the Deep Roy dances for each person who gets in trouble. I mean, he literally has it down. You've seen it.
I am.
It's awesome.
No,
That's amazing.
Eddie's an amazing dancer. He really is. So Chelsea, we're going to have you on every week to talk about Hollywood. So what kind of stuff are we talking about this week?
That's a wonderful question. We don't have, it's a little bit of a light, it's a light news week is what I like to call it, but there's definitely some stuff going on in the world of entertainment, even during quarantine. For example, they are doing a mini series adaptation of Tiger King, and they confirmed that they're going to have Nicolas Cage play Joe Exotic, which he's crazy enough to make it work. I think.
I am so stoked. I just wish he was a little bit younger. I know he'll make it work because he is one of my favorite actors of all time, but Joe is a lot younger than Nicolas Cage is now. But that I am dying to see that. I will be so excited to see that.
Has anyone else been cast?
So they said Kate McKinnon was going to play Carol Baskin, which I think is kind of strange casting because she's way younger than Carol Baskin.
Yes.
But I understand why they would do that. Because she's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. I know she'll make it work. I mean, she's super talented. I just thought that was interesting casting, but I'm really, but it's what's interesting. So they did a Tiger King added a bonus episode, and Joel McHale interviewed, a bunch of the people, and he asked all of them who would they want playing them in a movie. There was one guy, I think his name is John Ranke. He's the one with the fake legs.
Yeah.
Tattoos on his leg. He wanted Matthew McConaughey to play him, which totally makes sense because they look very similar.
Yeah. Actually, he was my favorite character in the show. I thought he was kind of the best, like mentally stable and kind of an honest, nice guy. I
like him, and I liked Saf, the one who lost their arm to the tiger.
Yes.
She was great. And I think the guy with the blonde hair who
she goes by them.
What?
I think it was like a he. Yeah, I think it's like there was like a debate. People didn't know that he was a trans person, but now it's like coming to light. It was interesting. He went on Joel McHale's show and he asked him about it, and he was like, it's whatever.
You can call me either.
I don't know about either, but he didn't seem to like, what's the word? Worrying about it. He was like, oh, everybody else was worried for me. It was very interesting. But it's interesting because I watched that bonus episode and I thought Joel McHale wasn't that good with who he was interviewing because I feel like he asked them questions in like the most inappropriate way possible. And some of it was really uncomfortable to watch. So I thought it could have been better. And I thought he could have been better.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, actually. I agree with you.
It was kind of anticlimactic because we thought, another episode and more Joe. And it was just kind of filler, I thought.
Yeah. Fluff. It was fluff. So so we're in quarantine. Everyone's in quarantine. Hollywood's kind of shut down. So what's going to happen in 6 months? What do you think? What are we going to be watching in 6 months?
I don't know. In some ways,
that's a hard question.
I don't know. It's hard to say 6 months, but what's really weird is that in some ways, entertainment's at an interesting advantage right now, especially for Netflix. I heard something about that. Netflix is actually gaining money because more people are watching stuff during quarantine.
Definitely.
Actually, I heard that some astounding figure that Disney Plus added like 40 million subscribers during the pandemic.
Yeah, for the first 10 days.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, they have to make up for the revenue loss.
That's right.
I can't even fathom how. I mean, as a Disney fanatic, I
Because the
mourn.
parks are their main revenue. So now
Yeah, I mourn the loss of Disneyland. I miss Disneyland.
It's going to
I
be a
want to go
while.
back, and the problem is you can't go back even when they reopen because everyone will be going back at the same time.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea.
I'm excited to hear Chelsea. I'm excited to hear what people think about the Johnny Depp version. So let's have a download from next week when we meet. Let's have a download about your movie chat. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I'm very
me
interested
Johnny
to
Depp.
see which one people like better because I know that from my parents. Like, obviously, they like the Gene Wilder version better, especially since that's the one they grew up with. I grew up with the newer one, so I'm more familiar with it. Personally, I found that there were things about both movies that were better and worse than each other. Like,
yes, perfectly said. I always will prefer the Gene Wilder and I love the Grandpa Joe of the new version because
the new version.
Yes, he looked exactly like my dad.
Okay.
Didn't he, Chelsea?
I don't think he looks like your
dad.
He
looks exactly like my dad.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Chelsea met Papa.
I don't think that
Chelsea has
I don't think that guy's ever been on a surfboard.
No, I know, but he's like a little adorable little Jewish man. He looks exactly like my dad.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay, Chelsea.
Hey, so but before you go, which one do you like the new one better?
No, she said there are nuances of both.
But she said she grew up with the new one, so
that's the one I'm used to.
That's the one you're used to. Well, for me, Gene Wilder can do no wrong, and he's just such a great talent. And
I mean, I agree that he's the better Willy Wonka. Like in terms of the actual Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder does it much better. I agree with that. But for the movies overall, that's a different story. I'm actually not sure yet which one I like better.
I think Johnny Depp, was like literally he just read the book and said, "I'm going to play this dead on." How I read this. So I think
my
that's
favorite
really
part when the mommy sings "Cheer Up, Charlie." That's your least favorite part. That is my least favorite part.
That's the worst song in the whole.
I love that song. God, when my kids were bummed out, I would sing them "Cheer Up, Charlie."
That's when I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
The first bathroom break was "Cheer Up, Charlie."
Oh my God! For shame.
It's true. All right, Chelsea.
Okay.
So that's tomorrow night at 7:00. Right?
Yep, 7:00 on Zoom, movie chat, both Willy Wonkas. Be there. If you want more info, message me and to RSVP, email Shelby at asnerfamilycenter.org. She's wonderful. She's at one of the amazing employees at the Ed Asner Family Center. So email her to RSVP. You could also message me for more details.
All right, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I'm very excited that you're going to be our entertainment guru every week.
Thank you so much.
Until next week, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
Love you, Chelsea.
Right, have a good one.
Thanks.
Chelsea Darnell.
Such a sweetheart.
So you really do like that song. That's one of your favorite songs.
I love that song.
Okay.
I would sing it right now, but I don't want to embarrass you.
No, come on. Let's hear it for you. Let's hear it for you.
No.
One of the someone wanted me to mention something. So I'm going to mention it.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a beautiful backyard that we try to spend as much time in as possible.
We?
Well, I mean, you do. Actually.
Matt comes out
I'll come out
5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the night.
Well, no, but that's the prime
I do
time.
all my work.
That's prime
my
time.
work, my best work outside swimming.
It's not uncommon these days for Navah to do Zoom from the backyard.
Yes, definitely. Why not?
So the other day, so while she's been in the backyard through quarantine, she has become Dr. Dolittle. So literally she's in the backyard and she talks to the animals. So she talks to hummingbirds, she talks to hawks, she talks to crows. I talk to crows though. I can do the crow voice. Yeah. Because if you do this to a crow, if you do this to a crow, you will see a crow freak out. If you do this, if you do that to a crow, they will flip out and go
and
crazy.
attack. Like
Seriously,
the birds.
they get all crazy and psychotic and they run off.
Uh,
So I mean, but you actually are talking to hummingbirds, and you are talking to hawks, right?
yeah. But the amazing thing is they talk back.
So I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I think everyone else out there is curious. What does a hummingbird sound like? Is that what they sound like? Really?
Yeah.
And they answer you. And
Yeah.
actually, I've got to say that I have been in the backyard when Navah has spoken to
If
hummingbirds.
only we had that on video.
And I've actually seen the hummingbird come down and try and communicate with her. So I have seen that. Now,
And somebody told us in the native culture that your loved one comes back as a certain animal, and I'm positive my dad is the hummingbird.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm trying to think what animal I would come back as.
Saint Bernard, maybe.
Saint Bernard?
Yeah, maybe.
Really? Okay.
I don't know.
But the hawks as well. You actually,
Yeah.
you know, the other day.
I'm not going to do a hawk sound.
You're not going to do a hawk sound? Oh, come on. No?
I do a great seagull, though.
Let's hear a seagull.
I can also talk to cats.
Perfect. Oh, that's your cat.
No, I mean, I can talk to cats. They talk to me.
Well, you know, I just read
All
something
cats
recently
talk
that
to me.
cats only meow for people.
Yeah.
They don't meow for
Mhm.
cats. They meow for
Yeah.
people. It's the communication that they've set up for people.
I've actually taught my children to respond since they were babies. I've taught them to respond to the same voice that I use with cats. So I could be in a room of probably 100 people and I'll make a sound like this. And my child will go like this. And my kitties will do the same thing. You've seen it.
It's true. It's true.
I did it the other
You
day.
are
to
Doc-
Aviva.
You are Dr.
I did
Doolittle.
it the other day to Aviva and Eddie, and they were like in unison, just like
You are
Mama?
Dr. Doolittle.
anyway.
So okay. So anyway, she talks to animals. I am witness. It's true.
Yes, I'm an animal.
You heard the hummingbird sound, and that's it. So we're in quarantine. We watch a lot of movies. We're watching a lot of movies, and
Yeah.
our next guest is the director of a great film on HBO.
This movie has a very, very powerful connection with me because Elaine Hall happens to be one of my dearest friends. She will say that she introduced us and that we are together because of our connection with Elaine. And I agree with her to a point. But I watched the original Autism the Musical because it was somebody in the Surfers Healing crowd had suggested it. And I didn't have a child diagnosed yet. And
Right.
I was so moved by this film. And so I felt such a deep connection to it. And it was as if God himself was whispering in my ear, wake up and watch this movie, really watch it. I mean, I was hysterical, especially the part where Elaine first meets Neil and the connection between her
Right.
having her Neely and everything. But I was so excited that they were making another movie. And I think there's so much to talk about. I'm excited to talk to.
And you know,
Trisha.
when I think when that film came out, or maybe a little bit after that film came out, I actually interviewed Trisha on Autism America
Right,
Radio.
I remember.
So she actually was one of our first guests, I think. So I want to bring her in now. This is Trisha Regan. Trisha, how are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
I don't think we can hear her.
Oh, I don't think we can hear you. This has happened before, so we're pros at this. So what I want you to do, here's what I want you to do. I want you to reboot your computer and and log back in. Okay? And we'll just we'll talk about Dr. Doolittle for a little bit longer.
Can you put that on the screen? I don't.
Can you hear me? Trisha, can you hear me? Okay. So call back in, reboot your computer, and you should be okay. All right. Hold on. There we go.
I
Well,
love this.
technical difficulties are so much fun. They really are, aren't they, Steve?
It's like every day. Every day there's something Zoom.
Well, you know, this happened to Alex
By the way,
Fischetti.
did you hear somebody said that kids might not be physically back in school until 2021? Because I was
You really wanted to
no.
take my day
The
and
reason
just
why I
break it
said
in
that,
half and just
the reason
ruin
why I
it.
said that, because I hit such a wall yesterday with Eddie's teaching.
Where did you hear that?
Eddie's schooling. It was in some report. But I mean, I literally went to a very dark place because I couldn't. I've almost hit my limit in general with his schooling and in his online classroom.
Oh,
because Eddie has such severe ADHD that for him to just sit still. I mean, I'm exactly the same way. I can't sit still, but it's very difficult for him to sit still, and I can't just set him up on Zoom and walk away. I have to be redirecting him continually. But
it's like
he knows all the answers.
See, it's like when you do that, though. This is the interesting part about that. When you do that, it's like it creates a something for him to be distracted by too, because he literally can't take his eyes off.
I've had discussions with his teacher, and she said we have to take the good with the bad, and what can you do? I mean, you have to he has to be able to listen. And if I walk away completely, then he's going to get absorbed with what's on the desk. He's going to be, and he'll stop listening altogether. So yes, I'm in a distraction. And so I'm continually going, Eddie, listen to your teacher.
Right,
no, I don't say damn it. But it's so frustrating. It's really, really, really hard.
It is. And it's one of these things that...
so when I heard that, I was just like, I don't know. It's a test of everything. I don't know.
Something's got to give there, though. I mean, that's going to be...
Yay, Trisha.
That's going to be tough. Hopefully we got her...
Yay.
We got her audio now. Let's bring her back in. Trisha, how are you?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm good. I was saying when I came on and you didn't hear me, it was just really, really nice to hear you guys talking about Autism the Musical. And I didn't know Elaine had introduced you guys.
Yeah, I was on the Miracle Project board for, I think I'm actually still technically on the board, but I was a board member for about 4 years. And so that was you had come to one of our board meetings, or you were guest speaker or something like that.
Is that where we met?
No. But we had Elaine actually set us up. She's like, "Oh, Matt, you're going anyway, so why don't you pick Navah?"
Well, it was at a Miracle Project meeting where I think everyone kind of started thinking like, "Oh my gosh, is there something going on between Navah and Matt? Because there's something that's weird."
Yeah,
and it was shocking.
The gossip
to everyone.
was flying that night.
So it was definitely a wonderful place for us to. That was like our coming out party.
Definitely that.
So, but Autism the sequel.
Yeah,
just a great film, really great film.
I didn't want it to end. I felt I wanted longer. I wanted to explore more of the. I mean, I loved Henry's segment because one of our kids is. I guess Wolfie would be considered Asperger's if we still use that term. But one of the things that's so hard for him is and it's my fault. He's so used to me doing everything for him and to have that level of independence. Academically, he'd be fine to go to college, but his dream has always been to go to Berklee School of Music. So to see those two ties, and I've actually gone back and forth with Adam's mom talking to her about Wolfie. But I loved how Henry was that, had this independent guy in college role. And it was it was really inspiring. Well,
and I think, and I have to commend you and all the moms and all the parents and all the individuals on this film, is that, it was unflinchingly honest.
Yeah.
And I think, there was some really honest, wonderful things that you brought to light there. And I don't think one has to look at the old film to really see the new film, in its own level. I think it's really important. It's really an important piece of work because you are showing what it's like for these young adults that are, basically going off the cliff at 22, and this is what they have to face. And it's really a telling portrait of 4 or 5 families that are dealing with this kind of crisis age, 22. So can you talk a little bit about the difference between each family and maybe some, where they all are? And I mean, it was easy to pick them because that's who was in it. So, did anything surprise you about where these kids were, having known them for so long?
Yeah, well, first off, I'd like to say in the first movie, Autism the Musical, there were actually 11 children that we cast, and I followed all of their stories. And our first cut of the film, Autism the Musical, was 4 hours long, but told all of those stories. And I thought it was brilliant, but everybody, sort of like, no, let's get it down. So we peeled every child away very painfully until we got down to these 5 kids. And it wasn't just the 5 kids, it was also their families. And their stories were the most compelling, mostly because they're the people who let us into their lives the most and the most without hiding. And so they popped on screen. And to be people who are willing to do that, you have to have a certain strength and a certain light that's shining inside you. And you have to really feel like you're telling your own story for a larger reason. So it doesn't surprise me that grown up, all of these now young adults still have that same light inside them, the same sense of self-determination. That's who they were when I met them. That's who they still are. They have grown up, but they haven't changed. Their parents also, these are the same moms that were at the front end of this evolutionary step that we have taken of autism. There were no services. Their neighbors didn't know what autism was. If their kid had a tantrum, people looked at them like they were horrible mothers.
Yeah.
Like they were out there in the wilderness, searching for their kids, determined to make sure that their children had fulfilling lives and that they could do everything possible to make that happen. So when their kids became 22, they're the same mothers. Like, of course, they're going to be right by their kids, trying to find out what their kid wants and what their kid needs so that their kid can create a life for themselves that is fulfilling. And I think what surprised me is that I think that's true for every one of these kids. Like, you may look at Lexi in a group home and think, oh, it's so sad that she ended up in a group home, but it's a beautiful place. I mean, those people there are loving. And oddly enough, it's run by a nonprofit that is Orthodox Jewish. So there's no men allowed in it at all. So any fears that you had about her being taken advantage of are just evaporated. She thinks she's at a dorm.
The first thing we said, was, oh, she's in Edda, because that is the nicest. There's a waiting list to get into that. I mean, we basically know all of them. That one I know very personally because I used to work for the Chabad, which is an Orthodox organization. But it's the most wonderful program. It's the program to get into, and she is in a wonderful place.
She is, and she is a wonderful addition to that home. Like they love her. She makes people laugh. I don't know how she does it. She just looks at you and winks and just has this impish look and smiles and everybody's laughing. It's pretty incredible. But That's the thing that surprised me, is that there was nothing sad to me about any one of their stories. So.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, certainly they're having some challenges here and there, and I think I was really struck by Henry's story, because I know Henry, and to see him, in San Francisco in college, doing so well, becoming an editor, becoming a filmmaker, which is just a great place for him to be. It's a wonderful thing to see him trying new things and getting out there and pushing himself. And I guess all of these kids are pushing themselves.
Yeah.
Even,
I'd love to see what's going to go on with Wyatt, because Wyatt just started his journey. Henry seemed very comfortable. I mean, he had challenges that he was dealing with, but Wyatt had only just started, and I'd love to have a follow-up and see how is Wyatt doing.
So there we go. There's the question.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the trequel? What would it be? Like, what's a 3?
I don't know. We didn't really think that through very well when we came up for the name with this one.
It's like 7 Up. You're gonna be doing one every 7 years.
It's 12 years actually. So.
Okay, 12 years. But you could do that, really. I mean, let's talk about that. You could do that, because this journey, especially with this group of kids, because this journey is their journey.
I think we need to do another Autism the Musical the original version with all new players.
Well, that's a different kind of story.
Because I loved, and I disagree with you. I think people should definitely see the first.
Oh no, I'm not saying they shouldn't see the first.
See this, because why not? It's such a beautiful movie. I love the music. I love that the Odyssey, and filmed at the Odyssey, but I think you could literally go and restart with all new players, because there's so many amazing kids just in our community now. So many artistic kids, so many amazing singers and actors and improv. Everybody's with Aretha and everything. I think there's really a place for that.
Well, 12 years. So that's the time span between
12 years.
The films.
Isn't that amazing?
I can't even believe that was 12 years ago.
So speaking in terms of autism and autism services and just autism in general, what are the things that you've seen change in 12 years? Because that's a good span of time.
It's a good span of time. And, I like to think that our film had something to do with the zeitgeist shift that happened. Because when we made this film, most people didn't know what autism was. Like, we literally, would do test screenings, and people would say, but what is autism? We'd have to keep going back and putting in a little more information each time. Friends of mine after C would be like, oh my God, there's this one guy at work who I've always struggled with. Now I know he has autism. Like, it just created this whole shift in people's understanding. And now, of course, aside from everybody knowing what autism is, I think everybody's really interested in it. And that was really, really my goal, because I have, from the time I was in high school and first heard about it, been fascinated. Because to me, it's a disability in the interface that people have with the world. And so it becomes this sort of prism, not prison, but prism through which interesting things happen in the way that people express themselves. And so I feel like it may be a disability, but it also does feel evolutionary to me. Like, there's something that this generation of kids, now adults, is bringing and will continue to bring to our consciousness and to our world and to our art, that will have a profound effect.
I agree 100% with Trisha that Autism the Musical really brought autism into the forefront of people's minds that never even thought about it. And 100%. Everyone, even today, when I'm talking about Elaine, and I say, oh, Autism the Musical, I mean, worldwide, people recognize that. And they say, oh, I saw that movie, and they're affected by that movie. And, I was in the autism world because my brother started Surfers Healing, which we taught kids how to surf and everything. But people were absolutely not just blown away because of the awareness factor, but just the uniqueness. That's the wonderful part, the uniqueness of autistics in general.
Each one,
right,
of each individual.
Matt and I have 3 autistic sons, and each one is so completely different from the other. And I think the both Autism the musical and Autism, I was going to say Autism again. They really show that each kid is so unique unto each other. And I don't use the word on the spectrum, but it really shows us the incredible difference and how these remarkable people are.
No, and I think it's very positive to see them all kind of come so far, and I think they've all kind of done very well, and in their lives, and they've adapted, and they're progressing, and I think you highlight that very well.
Henry was so tall and grown up and handsome. I didn't even recognize. Last time we saw him, he looked like a little kid.
It's unbelievable. And
Neil,
awesome.
Wyatt too.
2 matinee idols.
Well, Neil we see all the time. Neil we see all the time. But Wyatt was a totally different kid.
That's right.
He's a man.
Yeah, that guy's a man.
That's right.
What was really just so nice for me, it was so beautiful, is, most kids with autism remember so much. They remember everything. I know parents always talk about this. So these 5 kids, even though, I spent a few months with them 12 years ago, I stepped right back into relationship with them from moment 1. It was really beautiful.
And they all remembered you, right?
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it was like Henry, it was just like big hug. It was like no time had passed. Lexi, Neil, all of them, Wyatt, that was an incredible experience to know that those rich relationships are still there for me.
Yes, exactly. Well, I agree with Navah. I think you should do another one in 12 years.
I would really like to, and I hope it's an even.
I hope not that long.
HBO, are you listening?
Yeah,
not that long. 12 years.
And I think the next one should be more than 40 minutes too.
Yes, 100%.
I think so too.
100%. It went by way too fast.
But since the first one was about an hour and a half, hour and 45, right?
Hour and a half.
And you had a 4-hour first cut.
Yes.
So was the first cut on this one 2 hours?
Well, pretty much the first cuts, we cut each story individually, and I was in New York and the editor was in LA. So she was sending me cuts and I was like, giving her notes and we were going back and forth. So the first time she sent it to me, I forget whose story it was, but it was like 30 minutes long. And I didn't think it needed to be any shorter. I mean, I knew it had to be, but there was a lot there. I think this could easily have been a 1-hour film, easily. But HBO wanted a 40-minute film. They wanted it to be eligible for consideration for a short.
Yeah.
Which, it wasn't. So, but,
Oh, that boat is sailed already?
I guess it would have been eligible
for 2019.
Yeah.
Okay. But now, so people, by the way, I always call those first cuts that were way long, I always called them the oh my God cut. Because you knew you had to cut it down and you didn't know where to start.
Exactly.
Oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah.
If someone out there watching wants to watch this, of course they can go to HBO and watch it there, and you can find the times looking at the guide, or I believe it's on demand at HBO.
It's straight.
Is it on Hulu as well?
No, it had been on their YouTube channel for a week for free,
Okay.
but that week has passed.
Okay. So on HBO is where you can find it, and the film is Autism the Sequel.
Autism
And
the Musical is also streaming on HBO. So
Yeah.
It could be a double feature, and maybe Chelsea can have that as a movie.
Oh,
night.
yeah, that's a great idea.
that'd be great.
Yeah. So Trisha, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
So wonderful
talking to
meeting you and talking to you, Trisha. I'm really your hugest fan.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really been an honor, and like I said, I remember that interview with you, Matt, sitting on my couch in my apartment in Brooklyn, and it was all just beginning then. So
I know it was a long time ago. It was 12 years ago. 12, 13 years ago, or 11 years ago. So, well, how crazy everything's just, kind of. It's wild. And look at us now. We're all in quarantine. I never would have thought that back 11 years ago.
No, I would have thought that back 3 months ago. So
I know.
Well, I hope you're staying safe and healthy.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. And thank
you so much, Trisha.
We'll talk soon. Good luck with the film.
Thank you.
Okay. That's great.
Awesome.
That's great.
Awesome.
So everyone should go to HBO and watch 100%. That film because it's
it was too short. I mean, I was so into it. I wanted to keep hearing the stories, and I wanted to know what happened to Wyatt. He's just starting out at college, and
sweetest kid in the world. Seriously.
I met him just that one time
at the Light Up the Blues. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Lexi with the voice of an actual angel. Yeah. The clearest bell-like,
amazing,
perfect pitch I've never heard of. It was incredible.
So you had something you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yes. I forgot.
And you didn't tell me what it was. So this is a surprise for me.
Well,
I don't know what it is. And that could be anything.
It's not like that. It's just a statement that I wanted to make because today is Friday and it's a special weekend. And
yes.
I think, I have a nice sized brood.
You do.
So I'm a mom, and it's my proudest accomplishment. But I want to just send an aloha and a beautiful message to all of my community moms and all of my special needs moms who I have really missed. And I know you've all missed coming to the center and our support groups and our parties and our events. There's so many events that we had planned, especially for April, that we weren't able to do. And now we're in this crazy twilight zone. And I'm not going to say Groundhog Day because Matt loves and overuses that. But I just hope that this Sunday you can do something for yourself. Just have a minute to yourself, even if it's just taking a bath or listening to some amazing music, and you deserve it. This has been very trying to all of us, but especially to our special needs moms. And I wish you a wonderful, happy Mother's Day. And I know that I'm going to spend the whole day outside with my kids and swimming. I'm going to force this pale one here to hang out with us. And I just want to say happy Mother's Day to everyone, a special happy Mother's Day to our mommy in heaven, because it's very difficult, I know, for you, because you miss your mommy.
You want to make me cry now, right? Is that what you're trying to do?
Oh, God, yes. And my mommy, who I haven't seen in 8-9 weeks because of the corona, and I want to keep her safe. And I say happy Mother's Day, Juliet. I love you with all my heart, and I will see you very, very soon.
And now I am going to say something.
Okay.
Because, and I'm not going to talk to the people out there, but I'm going to kind of talk to you.
Okay.
And that is that, my mom is not here anymore. This is my second Mother's Day without her. She died last April. And I'll say that I want to say that I find you to be the most incredible mom. You inspire me every day. And I really find you to be in your natural element when you are mothering. And I can't think of anyone who could wear the banner of best mom ever other than you.
Thank you.
And
Sweet.
I love you. And
oh my God.
and I say
pouring it on.
And I say Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maddie. And happy Mother's Day to everyone. And even the moms and the dads who sometimes they're dads who are moms.
Yes, that's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
I know a lot of single dads who are wonderful mothers and fathers and all in one package. So,
but most of all, take the time to allow, I'm talking to the dads out there. For all the dads out there, take some time, give your wife a break, let her take a bath, let her do whatever she needs to do.
Cook her
a meal. Oh, is that right?
No, not you. You get an exemption.
I'm gonna cook Navah a meal this weekend.
Oh God.
But give her some fun. Have fun. And have a great weekend. We have next week. We have on our Stay Centered. Who do we have? Who is this guy?
We have the amazing, talented hypnotherapist and guru, mindfulness and meditation, and the creator of the 3-Minute Cure, John Sahakian, who's going to give us some amazing de-stress anxiety tools. And Krissa and I are going to talk to John. And always, if you need some extra support, if you need somebody to talk to, if you just need some extra help, call Krissa, write to her, Krissa@asnerfamilycenter.org, and let her support you with our telehealth services.
Take advantage of our other classes. We have classes every day. You find the schedule on our website at asnerfamilycenter.org. We have art classes twice a week. The next one is Saturday at noon on our YouTube channel. But take advantage of what we're offering for free. It's there for you for free. Have fun with it. We love you. We want you to stay safe. We want you to have a happy Mother's Day. And until next week, we'll say,
see you then.
See you then.